Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing my top 10 popular books that I want to read. I will go ahead and apologize for the audio. I have no idea what it's going to sound like. I'm going to hold this so that hopefully you can actually hear me a little bit better because I'm very congested from allergies and stuff. And so hopefully we'll be able to get through it. I've got a coffee to help ease my throat and everything as we do this. Um, So, a lot of these books are very popular. Some of them are a little bit backlisted, but that's okay. It's pretty much how we do it on my channel, which is fine. I don't read a whole lot of like the newer stuff. It's usually the backlisted. The first book on this list is The Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. This one has been out for a couple of years. I think we're on book 3 now. So we follow Gabriel, and he's living in this world where vampires are in charge. I think that they've been like 3 decades or something without any sunlight, and the vampires have just kind of ruled the roost. And so Gabriel is imprisoned, I think, and he's telling his story. And I don't know if we're gonna get the story like in order or if it's gonna be like what is that? Name of the Wind, where he's like it's 3 decades later and I'm telling you the story of what happened. I don't know. But it seems like everyone really likes this book. It's been on my list for a little while now. It was one that I wasn't initially going to read, but it seems like everyone really kind of likes it, and so figured why not. I'm not huge on vampires, not since the Twilight era, but it seems to be pretty good, so I think I'll give it a chance. The next one is Darkness That Comes Before by R. Scott Baker, and I think this one's pretty old, and the back of the book is not very helpful on like what it's about. Basically, it sounds like there's some sort of holy war going on, and there's a stranger coming to town, and that's really about it. Like this um, description on the back is like 3 sentences, and so they're going on a crusade, and that's really about it. So we're gonna find out. I don't know a whole lot about this other than it is very dark, and that's a big draw for me for this book. Not so much like the storyline or anything, but the fact that everyone talks about how grim it is, and I'm a big sucker for grimdark, so that's the whole reason why this is on the list. So the next book on this list is Jade City by Fonda Lee. This one I also wasn't initially going to read because they compared it to like The Godfather, and I never even watched the movies of The Godfather, so I didn't really care. But it seems like everybody really likes this book. Like, I think every YouTuber that I've listened to likes it, and so I think I should probably give it a shot. Especially considering the fact that it's not. I mean, they're your gang, yes, but I don't know. It sounds a little bit different than just mob bosses, Which I don't know why I'm complaining because I like Six of Crows and they're a gang, so like, who knows? But so, anyways, this one we're following the Greenbone Warriors, and they're using jade in the city, and I don't really know how they're using it. It sounds like a drug. Um, But so apparently there's some sort of battle happening, and we've got this family within this one gang, I guess. And so everyone really likes the characters in this, and it sounds like it's going to be pretty good. I'm planning to do a reading vlog for this specifically, probably sometime in the summer, maybe. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so we've got a theme for this list. These are books that I wasn't initially going to read, but they're on this list now for whatever reason. So I really should probably rename this video, but it is what it is. So this one is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. And the reason why this one was originally not on my list is because I'm not a huge fan of historical fiction. I don't I just don't care, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why, but I just wasn't really interested. What changed is this year, actually probably just a couple months ago, someone had talked about it and they said that this is one of the books that will break your heart. And me being a weirdo, I really love books that'll break my heart. And so it now jumped to the list. I don't know anything about it other than they're in like France and it's been occupied by Germany or something. And it's following this girl and her sister. And I have no idea anything other than that, except that apparently it's going to break my heart, and I am here for it. Okay, so this next one breaks the pattern a little bit. It has been on my list for a long time, and that is Gardens of the Moon by Steven Erikson. And this has been on my list. Oh man, it's been years, like years. I think that I've watched Murphy Napier read this whole thing. Like, I think wanted to read it when she started it, and that's been a while. And so I don't know a whole lot about the story other than this is a massive, massive world. And apparently, you follow a bunch of characters in this book, and then in book two, you follow a whole different set of characters. And I think that's been the big challenge with these books is that it is so massive that it's really hard to keep up with. And I guess like the cultures are all different and the characters are vastly different, and it's just a lot. And so I'm really looking forward to this just because of the fact that everyone seems to really love it. Like, I haven't met anyone, or, well, haven't found anyone online that has not liked this book. And so that means that it's probably pretty good if you can get through it. Probably have to read the first two to really get a grasp for everything since you follow such different characters in the second one. But that doesn't really bother me so much because I am a very go with the flow kind of reader, and I'm okay if I'm lost. It's not bother me one bit to be lost, so I think that I'll be okay. I'll probably need to reread it in order to like catch everything. Because on reread, I realize I miss a ton. So I'll probably miss everything in this, but it'll be a good time. This next book is The Will of the Many by James Islington. And this one follows this dude as he climbs the ranks amongst this. I guess it's a school or an academy or some sort. And his goal is to lie to them and betray them and sort of play a role that he's going to be compliant and he's going to give up his will by the time he graduates this academy. And he has no intention of doing so. He has every intention of looking for answers that he's searching for and betraying them because they killed his family. And I love a good story like this. I love a revenge story. I love the story of someone becoming a character and like infiltrating something. I think that is so much fun. So I think that I'm really gonna like it. Everyone seems to really like it. It's a little big. So it's gonna be a minute before I get to it. But I really am looking forward to this one. The next book on this list is Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. And this book follows a mother, a son, and a father. And I guess the mother has a very violent past that she's trying to forget. And the son is trying to come to grips with a future that's probably going to be very violent. And a father who seems to not be in the know. And so we're following this family, and I guess this boy wants to defend the nation, and he learns that it's built on like a bunch of lies and stuff. And that's the only thing that I've really heard about this story from other people is that the outside world comes in and he learns about the outside world and it's like mind blown. And that's the part that's interesting to me. I love when we come into a book and everything's the way it is, and then we find out that nothing is as it's supposed to be, or nothing's as it seems. I love a good like rug pull. It's the best, and so I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Seems like everyone really loves it. I've not heard anything bad about it, and so I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully, it'll be in the next year when I actually get to read it. Okay, so this next book is Gunslinger by Stephen King. And this is part of his Dark Tower series. And this is the series that you hear about the most with Stephen King, or at least I do. And it's so popular, and I have never really wanted to read it. But it was recommended by someone that I know. And so I actually like looked into what it is because I've never even known what it was about. And the description is very minimal, but it's minimal in a way that actually leaves me kind of like, okay, maybe I'll read it. And so basically, we're following this guy, and it seems like it's kind of post apocalyptic, sort of. Everything's kind of isolated and not really thriving in this world anymore. And they describe him as a loner, and he's chasing down this man in black. And that's the part that's interesting for me is like, who is this dude? What's he doing? And I always love like that one lone ranger who has to like go and kind of save the world. It's my favorite trope in action movies. Give me any action movie where you've got one dude who is just hardcore, ex-military, um, and he's just got to save the world by himself or save his town by himself. Like, oh, I'm there for it all day long. And so I kind of got a little bit of like that vibe from this. So excited to read it when I get to it, but it's honestly, it's probably lower on the list, just like this next book, which is The Stand by Stephen King. So this one, I'd never known what it was about either. Because if I'm being honest, I kind of like say no to Stephen King books without really knowing what they're about, just because the ones I've read have not really worked for me. But so I looked into this one, and it sounds almost like zombie type sort of thing, which isn't a big thing for me. But what gets me is that we're following this lady, and she's over 100, and they're looking at her as one of the leaders. You don't see that very often in novels, really. I mean, yeah, sometimes you'll have like a wise old grandma or whatever, but she's not really like the center focus. And so I think that that'll be really different. And that's the part that intrigues me about The Stand, when normally I wouldn't really care about zombies. But I also do like some movies where we've got some sort of like virus that has come out and is killing out the population. And apparently that's what we're going to follow in The Stand. And so I'm intrigued, but it's definitely probably going to take me a little bit to actually get to it. Okay, and so the last book on this list is Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. This is book 5 in the Stormlight Archive, and I have read the first 4, and I'm currently in the middle of a reread. I'm on book 2, so that I am like as prepared as possible for Wind and Truth. And this came out in the fall of last year, so I'm a little bit behind. Um, the reviews have not been great about this book, but I'm staying positive. I'm very easy to please in the story department. So it's very possible that I'm still really going to enjoy it, even when most everyone else didn't. And so I'm not really deterred by those reviews. Um, but I'm super excited about this book. And if you haven't heard about it yet, it is book 5 of the Stormlight Archive, like I said. But there's supposed to be 10 books, and these books are like 1,200 pages. Like, they're so long. And the first 5 like have their own arc, and then the second 5 have like their own arc. So like you essentially could stop after this one if you wanted to, because he's gonna take a big break in between book 5 and 6, apparently. And so, anyways, we have been following this group of people in this nation, and they are have been on some journeys, and we're following like a soldier, and we're following um a doctor slave turned soldier again. Um, we're following a thief who is welcome into the palace. We're following lots and lots of different people. So many scholars, lots of scholars, and we're following these people as they figure out their place in history, and they're figuring out the nuances of the world and sort of like the magic of the world that they've been missing out on for the last several decades. Because there's these things called radiance, and they have these bonds, and with these bonds, they become like powerful in certain ways. And so we're having to navigate those through this world and the different people who become these radiants and things like that. And meanwhile, we've got this like I don't even know what you would call him, but the villain of the story. And you don't really see him in the story until later. But so book 5 is all of that kind of coming together for us to duke it out with this big bad in book 5. And apparently the book covers like 10 days. And so that's really interesting because it's so long. Like 1,200 pages long is what it looks like. And so seeing it go by the days, like that's a lot to pack into a day. And so we're probably going to follow a lot of different perspectives. We've been following so many perspectives this entire time anyways. But given that it's book 5, I expect we're going to lose a lot of people. And I don't even want to venture to guess who we're going to lose. But like we have to lose somebody. Like unrealistic to have some sort of war and we don't lose anybody, even with the nature of how this battle is set up. We're gonna lose somebody, and so it's probably gonna be painful. But this book is going to be read a whole lot sooner than most of these on this list, just because I'm already very invested in this storyline. But I hope that description made sense. It's book 5, so I'm trying to be vague without going into my big elaborate explanation of book 1 because that itself will take 10 minutes. Just because there's so much to say. But if you really need to know, I've got a video all about The Way of Kings, which is book 1. So you can watch that. Um, but yeah, I think that's all on this list for now. I'm sure there is 1,000 more that I actually want to read. But this is the list for today. What popular books have you read? Have you read any of these? Do you recommend any of them over the others? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.